Continuing from previous video, even arrived. After that, he tried texting her dozens of times, but he always got an error message in return, and they never reached her. Which means she must have blocked my number. I mean, otherwise my texts should get through, right? I couldn't believe Tomo would do something like that. Supposing she had, did that mean that Takano had done something truly terrible? As a test, I tried sending her a text right then. Thanks for coming last night. See you soon. As expected, a transmission complete message appeared on the screen of my phone. I held up my phone to Takano, who stared at it like he was about to devour it with his eyes. He was silent for a moment, and then he looked up at the ceiling and yelled, "Why?" Takano, do you have any recollection of, say, standing watch outside her home, or maybe sifting through her trash, or, I don't know, bugging her room? I'd heard a lot of stories about people who were driven to act like that under the strain of a love they could never share with the object of their affection. But Takano turned all red and denied everything. What makes you think I could have anything to do with a crime like that? My boss is always saying that I have trouble reading between the lines, but I would never do something so awful to Tomo, let alone anything like stalking. You're right. I'm sorry. It's so odd for her to do something like that I had to check. There's no way a timid guy like you would pull a stunt like that. Exactly, Takano said, standing up a little straighter. It was at that moment that Tomo's quick reply came back. It must have been her lunch break. The text said, I want to thank you for dinner last night. Come over to my place next time. Delighted, I replied, how about next week? Takano watched me with a look of despair in his eyes. Why? But why? Why only you? He whined. There was an urgency in his voice. But no matter how many times he asked me, I didn't have any answer for him. Still, as I remembered how pretty Tomo had looked last night, I felt sympathy for Takano. If I were a man, I'd probably fall in love with Tomo too. And if one day she blocked my number, I'd probably spend a week in bed. Yesterday, I could only think about my relationship with Wada, but now, listening to Takano talk, I was fixated again on what Wada had said about her. Well, Takano, what are you going to do? I'm going to look for a book. Hey? It was such a random, off-the-wall response that I practically screamed at him. How could looking for a book have anything to do with what was going on with Tomo? There's a book that Tomoko wants. It was a really long time ago, but she was talking to the owner at the Saveur, and she told him that there's a book she'd always wanted to get, but she'd never been able to find it. I was, listening nearby. What book? I think the title is The Golden Dream. I've forgotten the name of the author, but it sounded like an old Japanese text, I think, probably a novel. So your plan is to find that book and give it to her as a present? The 14th of next month is her birthday, right? If possible, I'd like to give it to her then. I don't know that much about books like that, but I was thinking that you might know more. Despite what Takano had said, I'd never once seen a book with that title in the shop. Well, let's suppose you give her the book, what would you want her to do? I don't want anything in exchange. It's only for my own satisfaction. I'm not trying to get her attention or win her over or anything. If she's avoiding me, then we can pretend it's from you. What Takano said seemed laudable to me. I could tell from the tone of his voice that he truly was thinking of Tomo. He reminded me of that song I learned in grade school, Donna Donna, about a calf being carted away from its mother. I'm sure the look in Takano's eyes at that moment was the same as the calf, with a mournful eye, in the lyrics. Tomoko probably just thinks of me as some guy she used to work with at her old part-time job, but to me, her smile is the reason I never quit the coffee shop. It's what made me able to go on working. So I want to find a way to express my gratitude for those years. I'll be satisfied as long as it makes her happy. Okay, I understand. After hearing what he felt, there was no way I could refuse to help him. In that case, I'll help you look for the book. With the two of us, it shouldn't be any trouble. I want to make Tomo happy too. Thank you so much. And with that Takano's expression finally brightened a tiny bit. That night, my aunt and uncle stopped by to check on things a little before I closed the shop. It would have been better for them to have gone straight to their home in Kunitachi, but my uncle couldn't help himself. I proudly informed him that there had been absolutely no problems at the shop. Thanks to the effects of the hot spring, Momoko's skin was even more lustrous than usual. It was really fun, she said as she handed me a gift box of hot spring steamed buns. My uncle, however, was standing nearby, looking gloomy. That reminds me. You stopped calling after the second day, I said. My uncle just mumbled, yeah, in response. He looked a little unwell. I was worried and looked to Momoko, who tried to explain. It's been so long since we've been on a trip. I think we're a little bit tired. Don't worry about him. He really enjoyed it. Really? I thought it was a little odd, but I didn't pursue the matter any further. If they both said they'd enjoyed themselves, then that was enough for me. Well, I can close up. Leave the rest to me. I wanted to fulfill my responsibilities right up to the end, so I had them go home first. I had to work the next day too. My days at the Morisaki Bookshop had come to an end. I wanted to go on living at the shop, but instead I closed the shutter tightly and went back to my home and my normal life.